Hello, this is OverlordBou, and we're back with another ship review, and today we'll be going over how to play the Paolo Emilio. So, the Paolo Emilio is available in the Research Bureau for 43,000 research points. This is the cost of this is about completing 2 lines regarding with the double research bonus, and completing a couple missions that reward Research Bureau. Now let's talk about the Captain build real quick. So for equipment, we're going to do main armament with the engine boost modification, torpedo tube modification. If you feel like you're going to be using the guns more, you can use the aiming systems if you want. But I personally like having the torpedo speed boosted a little bit with the risk of torpedo tubes being knocked down a bit. You need to take propulsion modification, concealment, and then main battery modifications. Now, this build is pretty different than a regular DD build because of the ship's reputation as the Yolo Emilio. You want to pretty much build right into doing so with the yellowing. So you do the preventative maintenance, last stand, survivability expert, concealment, swift and silence, dazzling, consumable enhancement, and then grease the gears. So you want to take this one for sure because this increases the smoke and duration that you need to be able to stay stealth while you're trying to yellow somebody. The dazzling is pretty much for once you're spotted, pretty much at that last few moments as you're spotted, they'll have they're just supposed to be 20% worse on their end. So people that have you spotted that are further away that you're not really able to kill, they'll have a less likely time of hitting you. Also, while you're dark, having swift and silence is also really nice too. So pretty much when you're roaming around the map looking for your victims, and while you're in your smoke, you'll get a plus 8% to your speed, which is really, really nice. So, oh, forgot to mention. Just to double make sure, when you go into the signals right here, make sure you have the X-ray right here for the smoke duration time, so that you have more smoke duration, so you'll be able to rush people longer. Also, make sure you have prepare this one right here, and the Sierra mic as well. Alright, so let's go over the ship's details, and while we're going to be doing that, I'll let you guys watch the video real quick. The replay, I mean. Sorry. Alright, so this ship has a survivability of 24,400 HP with a 19mm bow and stern. It also has a 20mm deck, 60mm side armor. The ship does have the highest DD health pool at tier 9. While she does have has the largest HP pool, she also has the largest hull, making it easier to hit. As you can see on the ship, it is clearly almost the size of a light cruiser or a lower tier light cruiser. So this thing is beefy boy, beefy boy for sure. Now, the primary guns are 4 twin 135mm 45 guns with the ABXY layout. Now, these guns have a 10.7 reload with 18-second turret traverse. Now, these guns can fire broadside 30 degrees off the rear and 25 degrees off of the bow. Now, these guns do have a range of 11.3 kilometers base range with a 2.0 sigma. Now, this ship is able to fire HE and SAP rounds, so it is a very good for that, and also has very good gun angles. It does have terrible DPM, but good alpha damage on her SAP. Now, the Paolo Emilio's guns are surprisingly useful, given their low firepower on paper. The SAP is very effective against DDs, letting I apologize, Paolo Emilio. Sorry, it's like 5 in the morning here. It allows her to duel other DDs in a pinch. They aren't much useful on BBs and cruisers, so it's not recommended to gun against larger ships unless necessary. Now, these torpedoes are what makes the yellow here. Now, they are 3 quad 553mm torpedoes with a 6-kilometer range. So, you're not able to really stealth torpedo on this ship, as you'll see down below, down the information later, that this thing has a 7.1 concealment. So you can't just stealth torp. You have to be able to rush in, get the torpedo hit, and then rush out. So, but these torpedoes are hard hitting with 23,767 damage base, with 120-second reload and 67 knots base speed. Now, these are the most powerful torpedoes in the game, and they also are short-range torpedoes and max salvos per side. Now, the Paolo Emilio's torpedo rush is what defines her playstyle. The high damage and relatively high torpedo speeds allow her to dev strike full HP enemies with 1 or 2 torpedo salvos, while having a third for another target. Now, let's talk about the anti-air. The anti-air on this ship, there is no flak. And the only anti-air it has is only 120 damage per second. So, practically no anti-air, so rip you if you're spotted. Now, for the maneuverability, it has a base speed of 43.5 knots base speed, which doesn't factor in the Swift and Silence or the speed boost. And now, with the speed boost, it does get a plus 25% speed boost, which makes it go incredibly fast. It also has a 810 meter turning circle with a 5.3 rudder shift time. Now, this is the fastest base speed tier 9 ship in the game, and it's also the fastest ship in the game, topping out at 60 knots with all speed modifiers activated. It also has the largest turning radius out of the DDs. Now, the Paolo Emilio is the fastest DD in the game when built properly. This is very important when running down the enemies when in smoke. While her turning performance is awful, this doesn't affect her gameplay much, as she doesn't need to perform many hard turns. Now, let's talk about the concealment. The regular concealment is 8.1 kilometer base with an aerial detection of 8.7. I'm sorry, 3.7 for the base. Now, when you build into this, the concealment from air goes to 3 kilometers, and the area in the sea goes to 7.1 kilometers. Now, the smoke fire penalty on this ship is 3.7 kilometers. So even when you're in the smoke, make sure you don't shoot too close, but you can kind of shoot at DDs that are spotted outside of your smoke when you're just rushing in. But sometimes you want to make sure you use that stealth to your advantage. Now, due to her high detection, she cannot contest caps or spot effectively against typical DDs. She has to be more kind of further away, kind of waiting for the targets. In this particular match, I really had a hard time dealing, as you can see on the bottom right there. There's a Stalingrad, there's a Minotaur, there's a lot of DDs. I wasn't really able to do much this match. It was kind of like, I'm kind of just trying to showcase, instead of just showing a match where I just go up and yellow everything, I kind of am showing how you have to kind of sometimes wait for the good moment to be able to use this ship effectively. Because this ship's one goal and one purpose is to yellow, and that is why it's called the Yolo Emilio. Now let's talk about the consumables real quick. Now for the consumables, it does have a standard DD DCP with infinite charges. Now, you get a 5-second immunity and has a 40-second reload. Now, the exhaust smoke, you get 5 charges base with a 35-second base lay time with the 45 seconds when upgraded with that module we were just... Sorry, not with the module. If you build into it with the smoke that we were talking about. Now, the unique speed boost is the plus 25% bonus to the speed with the 50-second duration and 140-second reload, and you get 5 charges of this. So now it does, and you do get a lot of smoke charges and a lot of speed boost on this ship, so it gives you a lot of opportunities to be able to go and yellow enemy targets. Instead of like the normal like getting 4 or maybe 3, you get 5 of each. So it's really useful to make sure you use all of these throughout the match. I'm kind of dumb here, and I don't really use many of them this whole time while I'm just sitting here. So it's kind of not the best match, just trying to showcase me using them. But at the same time, you can kind of get the gist of what I mean. Now, my overall impressions of this ship is it is a high skill floor ship and definitely a high skill ceiling. Well, she is definitely named the Yolo Emilio for a reason. The Paolo Emilio has the most unique playstyle of any ship in World of Warships. It is the most unique. Her playstyle is a very feast or famine. You either net amazing 200k damage games or no damage games depending upon the enemy competence and the map layout. With her fuel smoke and 60 knot speed, she can rush down enemies to launch her high damage torpedoes for 2 devastating effect. A well-timed rush can easily kill 2 full HP ships and swing the game around. Now, a few guys, or most of you guys have probably seen my videos, a lot of my funny compilations where you've seen me do this, where I've rushed 2 battleships and just wiped both of them out, or even kill a third, using the stealth of this ship when it's in smoke. It can really be a feast or a famine kind of playstyle, because usually out of every good run, you'll have about maybe 2, or you'll probably have like 3 or 4 bad runs. So don't expect to get just really good games every time. Sometimes you're kind of like this, where you're not really able to do much. You just do the best you can and just try to help your team when you're able to. And the thing is, usually, like, and if you want to know if you did a good job doing a yellowing in, if you survive the encounter, even with a little bit of health, that's a pretty good yellow in the end. So, good job if you survive the yellowing that you do. So, let's talk about other distances. So, however, it be able to doing really good sometimes, the Paolo Emilio performs poorly or mediocre in most other areas except for fighting DDs. So, players should focus on positioning and looking for opportunities for their rush. That being said, the Paolo Emilio starting with 5 smoke and 5 speed boost consumables, so you can safely deal some damage if they don't need the consumable immediately. So like I was saying earlier, you do have a lot of consumables to work with, so you can always just kind of like try to engage a DD. If you need to run, you just run, because you have so many consumables to work with. So my overall impression of this ship, it isn't the best performing ship, especially for it being a research bureau ship, but it is by far the most unique and potentially fun ship to play. Is why I would recommend it for getting it from the research bureau. So if you're looking for like a really unique ship, I would definitely recommend it for that. Now, the player's ability to read the situation and exploit opportunities will help you enjoy the Paolo Emilio, as you can yellow it in and dev strike targets. Now let's talk about the potentials of it in randoms, ranked, and in clan battles. So for randoms, I would say this ship is good. The Paolo Emilio can rush down enemies, rush down opponents unaware of her gimmick and zone out those who does. It is hilarious when you rush in and dev strike 2 or 3 ships with the torpedoes at the same time. It's super memey. Now for ranked, I would say this ship is mediocre or average. Since it is taking up a DD slot, it takes away crucial spotting and capping potential from the team. So for instance, like let's say you have a gearing on the enemy team and you have this on your team. The Paolo Emilio isn't going to do as of a good job fighting DDs or being a good spotter like the gearing would be. So in the end, the gearing would do a better job just being a DD role, while this would be a better role at just yellowing and having fun and memeing. So that is the reason why. Now, the Paolo Emilio also suffers poorly against radar, hydro heavy teams, as you saw throughout most of this match. I was really suffering from that Stalingrad middle pair. And so you really got to be careful, since as of right now, radar and sonar ships are everywhere at tier 9 and 10 right now. They're absolutely everywhere. So you're gonna really suffer trying to be able to pick targets that don't have it. Now let's talk about clan battles. So for tier 9 clan battles, I would say it's mediocre. While she can be fun at the lower leagues, the heavy presence of radar and hydro combined with the coordinated attacks make her less useful at higher tiers. So again, I would recommend this ship. only because of her unique playstyle. In random, she's okay. Ranked is mediocre or average, and clan battles are mediocre. But for the fun factor and how unique of a ship she is, it's just so much fun to play. I love playing this ship. I play it all the time on stream. It's always in my funny compilations. Like there's no other ship in the game you can just zoom around at 47, 48 knots base and just zoom around and reposition super quick. Like, you're just a little speed demon. It's so much fun to play. It's really just a blast. Now, you do have to get it with the Research Bureau. So if you don't have that access yet, that's a ripperoni. But if you do have a Research Bureau and you're looking for a unique ship, I would highly recommend that you get this ship. I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. So, that is pretty much it for this match. So I'm just gonna cut that off real quick. We don't really need to watch the end of it because that was pretty much the end of it. So in that match, I did get this is the score right here with 84,000 damage, 1 kill, and 5 torpedo hits. So I did 84,000 damage pretty much with that 1 torpedo hit. Pretty nice there, pretty nice. I still performed pretty well, like okay in the match. I got about half. But in the end, I did get the yellowing onto the Montana, which was the end goal there. But yep, this is OverlordBou. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely let me know. Again, I'm like recording this at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I really shouldn't be up, but I just wanted to get this video out for you guys because a lot of you guys were asking for it. So thank you all for watching, and if you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely leave a comment down below and leave a like on the video. But thank you all for watching, and talk to y'all later. Oh, big stretch, dude. Oh, big stretch, yeah.